Greeting everyone. Welcome to our next section of our class in IELTS Speaking. Today we will learn about the use of discourse in IELTS Speaking. This is a very important aspect in IELTS Speaking that for some reasons I don't understand why most IELTS course in the world just, you know, ignore this part. To begin our lesson, I want to ask how many of you have heard about the word discourse. Now to continue, I want to ask how many of you have used discourse, or at least discourse analysis in IELTS speaking people. So this will be the aspect that we will tackle today. Let's move on. I can guarantee with you that after this lesson, you will never speak the same IELTS speeches as you used to. Before we begin, I want you to gather in group and you will ask yourself. A group of four will be ideal. I want you to use your phone or any devices that you have to search and to discuss in group what is discourse and its importance in English using. And then I want you to answer for me. Why do you think discourse is important in IELTS speaking? Thank you for all of your answers. Now I will move on to the discourse. To understand the discourse, you have to first and foremost understand what is discourse. So discourse is very simple. It is the way language is structured and connected in spoken or written communication. In our speaking, discourse refers to coherence, fluency, and logical connections. The common language and the academic expressions that used by the native speakers are also a part of discourse. Now, after you have understood the meaning of the word discourse, I think that you will have a glimpse of the importance of discourse in English uses and in IELTS. And I did hear some accurate answers from you on. To put it simply, the first reason why discourse is important is because it allows us to present our ideas clearly and logically. I mean, no one wants to hear, disorganized and hard to understand answer from you. Secondly, discourse is important because it can enhance fluency and coherence, which are a key scoring criteria, not only in IELTS but in normal circumstances. To be able to communicate fluently and coherently is also important because it will show your professionalism, your knowledge, and your ability to express things comprehensively. And to me, the most important aspect is the final one because it can make your responses more engaging and natural. Now, why is a natural expression important? And why do I choose a natural expression as the most important aspect of an IELTS speaking? To put it simply, the first reason is that the way we speak naturally will represent or resemble the same way native speakers use English. What is the most important aspect in IELTS? I bet all of you will think of something related to scoring. Yes, if you got a high score, you have a high level of English and you can use your IELTS scores for your personal uses. But how can we get a high score? We will have to imitate how native speakers naturally use the language. All language competitions are all language testing systems in the world, regardless of what beautiful words they want to use, all focus in but one thing: the way you can use your foreign language as close as the native speakers. Second, because you have to use English in a natural way, you will be able to use diverse vocabulary, phrases, and even grammatical points. And also, you can use English in real work life. After all, you have your purpose when you study for the IELTS test. Whether it's going to study abroad or to get a good job, you need to know how to use English accurately in the real life situations. Otherwise, there will be just no way for you to be accepted in a long term. And what we want is not only a simple score. What we strive to for is a long-term application of English uses. So, how do we use discourse effectively? To do so, we have to begin with the most commonly known, and I even say obsolete approach of discourse, the discourse markers. So on this slide, you will see for organization, firstly, secondly, finally, finding ideas. Moreover, in addition, what's more, for contrasting, however, on the other hand, that being said, blah, blah, blah. All of them, I believe, whether you're a novice or a senior IELTS learner, you will at least hear one of them at least once. And in other classes, I bet your teachers even encourage you to spam these works. Guarantee that they will give you or they will ensure you a high score. Nothing can be further from the truth than that. I will tell you more in the future. Now, I want to tell you the reason why standard English and natural English plays an important role in IELTS. So first, I want you to scan a QR code and answer for me. What do you know about standard English and natural English? So, very simple. Very simple. Imagine that you are teaching your native language to foreign speakers, maybe Vietnamese or Japanese. So, what shall you prioritize? Of course, you will prioritize the accuracy of the, your student learning, and you will prioritize the speed of your students learning. Like, so the standard English, the same is true to standard English, as the standard English is designed to be simple, while in real work, natural English is more diverse. I believe that in your language, there are multiple ways to show the same demonstration of an object or of a characteristic. So in standard English, the uses of the words, the structures will be mechanics and simple, while natural English will be more natural and colorful. And why are these the differences between the forms and the uses? I think it is because of the nature of the English. As you teach your language to a foreign speaker, you will prioritize structure and meaning, because you only need your students to speak accurate grammatical points and use the words wisely and appropriately. That should be more than enough. While in natural English, it will be expression based, which is you tend to make your language be more diverse and be more demonstrative. So let's look at some examples. Very simple, right? So if you describe your code, you will only in standard English you have only two methods: cold and very cold. That's all. And in natural English, there will be more to do. You will have chilling, you will have pleasing, and you have phrasing. And I will give you another example. In in standard English, you will tend to refer to beauty as beautiful or very beautiful. Even pretty is used by just a few people, while in natural English, there are much more methods to express the beauty. For instance, gorgeous, hot, or, or and music to the ear, or a sight to your eyes, or something like that. Sometimes the expression, might be created by the users to meet the realistic standards, the realistic circumstances as well. That is the beauty of language. Just the standard aspects and the natural aspects are totally different. So let's move on to the important aspect: how to use discourse naturally. Very simple. Avoid overuse. Not only markers, but also the same words. The overuse of the same words or the same phrases will make your speech boring and unnatural. And about the and you and to in order to use the markers and natural English easily, effectively, and naturally, you will need common practice. You will have to constantly practice them in everyday speech. So I will give you some practical strategies to work on. We can practice them later. The first aspect is to create structural responses. You can use the discourse markers to create a clear flow, including the introduction, explanation, example, and conclusion. However, now this is the traditional sample, the traditional formula. I want to give you a more modern, natural formula, that is the PPF. We will talk more about PPF in the future, but I will tell you about it as past, present, future. You describe the past as the causes, the explanations for the current aspect where you are studying, and you use where your stance as the prelude for the future as your conclusion. What will it be, and what will you expect, or what will it result? And I want you to practice speaking with cohesion, like recording yourself just like this and check for logical connections. And also another tip is that you should constantly try to use new words so that you can get the better idea. You, I'm, there is a small tip for you about that. You need to learn three words that share the same meaning, and then you constantly try to change them. Like before you say however, just say nevertheless, notwithstanding, something like that, until it becomes your instinct. When you try to use, you should practice like a trigger in your brain. Like whenever you want to use however, say it. Say it even out loud if needed. Try using another word. And then you repeat, and you will use a lot of vocabularies. And of course, to make your speech more natural, You should engage in discussions to improve fluency, and also natural discussions with another peer or even to the AI will allow you to improve the quality of the speech very much. And also try not to use discourse markers mechanically. Instead, try to create a logical flows of your answers, and try to try to substitute words when needed. And please don't jump between the ideas without clear transitions. It's a disaster, believe me. And of course, in this AI work, we cannot just ignore AI. So I want you to learn how to utilize AI to practice. So in terms of speaking, there will be two AI applications that I know they will be useful for you. First, of course, the classic ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT to draft the content and to use diverse vocabulary. Very simple. I hope that so you can use ChatGPT as a way to diversify your vocabulary as well. Very simple. You only need to communicate with AI. So I can give you an example. Try writing fan fiction. You don't need to write a whole fan fiction. Instead, just the draft the plot or the scenario you can imagine, and then you ask ChatGPT to improve the plot, to fix the flaws, to analyze the scenarios, or simply just add a continuation. And you will, and through your communications with the chatbot, you will thrive a lot. Believe me, you will learn a lot of vocabulary, and your language will be more meaningful, expressive, and natural. And after you have used the ChatGPT to draft your content, use I had English Central on text to and transfer and voice transformer of the ChatGPT 3 to record and self-evaluate your speech. And don't forget to ask ChatGPT how you can improve your answers. And now we will practice what we learn immediately. Thank you for listening to me.